Hey everybody, how you doing? Today we're looking at a game called Chorus. Just came out a few months ago. I've been playing a little bit here and there, not a whole lot yet. Still pretty early on in the game, but I've been trying it out, and it's not bad. I've got some things to say about it, and that's what we're going to do today. The style of the game is a arcade-style spaceship shooter. It was released back in December 3rd, 2021. It's a single-player game, story mode driven, developed by Deep Silver and Fish Labs. My opinion of this game so far right now is it's definitely more of an arcadey space shooter than it is a sim. And I'll get into that when I get into the controls. But as for now, let's go ahead and get into the rest of it. Alright, well, getting started, one of the first things I would probably suggest doing is hopping into the controls and checking just to make sure what all you're going to be getting into, because there's a few things to note, like special powers. You'll see those pop up eventually throughout your gameplay, how to change weapons, because you only have one type of weapon active at any one time. Another thing to notice that is pretty nice about this is the controls do have various different input selections. You could use single joystick, two joysticks, mouse and keyboard. It even notices my Razor there or my Tartarus without even like trying. And automatically kind of has all of this stuff pre-set up for you if you are willing to use that, as well as having the option to customize it completely if you want, which I kind of went with customizing it quite a bit. Doesn't take too much to refine. You just kind of gotta play a little bit, and then you'll realize maybe with capital ships you might want to refine it a little bit, but after that you're good. It's golden. Unfortunately, there's not really a whole lot of ship customization or anything like that outside of actual upgrades to the ships that really make it function differently. So no real personalization there going on, which is okay if that's what you're looking for. If you were looking for some customization, though, I'm sorry. But one thing to mention is the difficulty curve. You could play the game on the easiest setting. You could also play it on medium or hard. It doesn't really seem to get too bad until you get into hard. Then it gets a little bit difficult, as it should. But medium, I feel like you should be able to do just fine on medium if you are experienced in arcade shooters at all. Going into the ship upgrading a little bit more, just so that you know, it is done with either credits for purchasing stuff at the store when you're in like the main station or other places that will allow you to buy. Other ways of doing it are to complete missions that will be rewards, so you get some of the more rare items. But changing out components on your ship is pretty much as simple as you purchase it, and if it has an empty slot there, it'll already fill it. Or you go into your player menu, go to ship, and then you can equip the items on the player menu from there. On to taking a look at the map, there is a little bit of size to it. It doesn't seem to grow too humongous, but even for the more distancy places, there is jump gates that you can use to make it quicker, and I do believe that is the level of fast travel in the game, is using the jump gates. Outside of that, you have what is a kind of faster than, well, it's not really faster than light, it's more just a kind of like a super cruise that you can use to get to some of the closer places a little bit faster. And you can make about 1,000 whatever the in-game kilometers pretty decently quick, and I don't think you'll end up traveling too far without a jump gate. But with that, let's go ahead and get into space flight, or the gameplay aspect of this game, you know, combat and all that. One thing to keep in mind with flight in the game is the flight model uses a more arcadey airplane style flight model for the most part. There is one little feature that we'll get into here in a second that is going to help you with changing that to a degree, but for the most part, yes, it is. You fly forward, you can kind of dodge left and right when you need to, and you have special powers, which we'll also get a little bit into. Not too much, I don't want to ruin anything for anyone who might actually be wanting to play this game and don't want spoilers, so we won't be doing that too much. But I will say that they kind of go along the lines of like things like you'll have a sense ability where you can sense where things are easier, and another ability you get pretty early on is the ability to kind of teleport behind an enemy. That gets a little bit tricky to use. There's a question on how good the targeting is in the game for me. Right now, all I can really tell is you have to be looking at them and in range, and then it'll target them for you. If you start shooting, it holds that target. Outside of that, I don't think there's a control for actually like cycling through targets that are available, which would be nice to use for something like a teleporting ability to teleport you behind the enemy real quick. Anyhow, moving on. That one exception of the flight that we were talking about, it's a drift mode, where you hold down one of your buttons, whatever you end up setting that control to be, and it kind of like transforms your ship a little bit and makes it so that the ship just starts drifting in the direction you were flying in, and you're able to turn and fire and all that. It's kind of like it takes over for decoupled, if that helps at all. But again, as soon as you let go, you're right back to flying like a normal airplane again. You do have the ability to stop in the middle of space, but if you're looking for a game where you can kind of fly in all axes, like, you know, realistic space flight or space combat, this isn't it. However, if you are looking for the easier, simpler, I just want to fly around shooting things, this is a great game for you. You'll love this. Last thing I really wanted to talk about was the story. I don't really want to get too much into it, except I will say it's a little much. Again, I'm not gonna get into detail because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who actually is interested in what it might be. The characters pretty well thought out, I think. The characters are probably the best part of the story. But then again, the rest of the story itself, to me, is early on, it's not really doing great. Hopefully it picks up for me a little bit later. With all of that being said, I think that's about as far as I want to take this review. These are, again, remember, my reviews are not meant to be the most informative. They're just meant to be a real quick little, this is how I feel. This is how it is. And if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe and come back for more. If you didn't, then burn. I'm just kidding. Don't burn. Please just like me. Yeah, just do that. Alright, anyhow. Ciao.